There we are. I'd like to open this town commission meeting for October 26, 2021 at 7. We're a little behind 7:05. Please stand for the pledge and the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sal.
Father God, thank you once again for trusting us with your town. I ask that you give us your wisdom and discernment, and you put a hedge of protection around our staff and our town and all our citizens. I ask that you help us make decisions for the best of our citizens this evening. May we honor you in all we say. In your name, amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Sal.
Hey, Commissioner McMullen.
Present.
Commissioner Collins.
Here.
Commissioner Ramos.
Present.
Vice Mayor Satterfield.
Present.
Mayor Stark. Here. Thank you. First two things we're going to do are proclamations. The first proclamation is from the town of Oakland for the Week of the Family, My Compass. Whereas the town of Oakland is blessed with a multitude of families, an essential part of the culture, social, and spiritual fabric of our community. And whereas the town of Oakland commissioners recognize that strong families are at the center of strong communities, that children live better lives when their families are strong, and that families are strong when they live in communities that connect them to economic opportunities, social networks, and services. And whereas everyone has a role to play in making families successful, including neighborhood organizations, businesses, nonprofit agencies, policymakers, and of course, families themselves. Whereas during the week of November 6, 2021 through November 13th, 2021, town residents should take the time to honor the importance of families and recommit to enhancing and extending the special connections that support and strengthen them throughout the year. Whereas the town of Oakland will join with other Orange County municipalities, agencies, and organizations to honor and celebrate the family unit, the bedrock of our communities. Now, therefore, I, Kathy Stark, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the town of Oakland, Florida, and on behalf of the entire town commission, do hereby proclaim the week of November 6th through November 13th in the town of Oakland, the week of the family, my compass. And we do have somebody here to accept this.
Yes, I'm Victoria Laney with the Week of the Family Committee, and I appreciate Oakland for being a wonderful place for families all year long. And you just get better and better with the Cultural Arts Center and everything you do. It's just lovely, and I appreciate coming here to receive the proclamation. We do contests every year in conjunction with Week of the Family, and there's one that's still available. The son or daughter or any family member writes 250 words, and you have the opportunity to win a fabulous prize. So you can go to www.weekofthefamily.org and see the calendar of events for the week and read about the contest. So thank you.
When we'll get a picture.
Yes.
Come on, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Front of the door.
You're right, yes. Oh, okay. Someone knows how. He's already been bad. Okay, you ready?
Smile.
Smile, yeah.
You don't have to.
Okay. One more.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Wonderful. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Have a wonderful here.
Hey, where you going?
All right. Okay. As befitting the contributions that Jim Thomas has made to this town and this world, I have a very long proclamation to make. So some of Jim's family's here, some of Jim's friends are here. So, we did name the Nature Center, or Oakland Nature Preserve, name the Nature Center after Jim. So this is just another way for us to honor him and all his contributions now that he has left us. So the town of Oakland acknowledging and honoring the contribution of Jim Thomas to the town of Oakland. Whereas Jim Thomas, a fifth-generation Floridian, grew up with a great love of the outdoors, which he nourished, cherished, and defended through his lifetime. And whereas Jim Thomas settled into the West Orange community, and for over 30 years, and took the lead battling environmental issues that would enrich the quality of life for current and future residents. Whereas Jim Thomas opened Biosphere Consulting, which consulted on lakefront and wetland restoration, as well as providing native plants. Whereas Jim Thomas worked with lakefront property owners and large mitigation projects to help enhance and maintain healthy water quality of local wetlands, lakes, waterways. And whereas Jim Thomas was a teacher, an environmentalist, an ecologist, a private business owner whose love and passion for the environment and wildlife was contagious. Whereas Jim Thomas was an effective leader who influenced others across generations to take a stand for the environment at a time when attentions and efforts were needed to be focused on critical issues. And whereas Jim Thomas immersed himself into many battles on behalf of the environment, always promoting science to lead the way for sound growth and ecological restoration. And whereas Jim Thomas served as a founding member or as an influential board member with many groups and organizations around Central Florida, including the Friends of Khyber River, Orange Audubon Society, Reedy Creek Improvement District, Friends of Lake Apopka, Oakland Nature Preserve, and the Nearling Society. Whereas Jim Thomas always held the philosophy that education is the key to environmental problems that have political solutions, and in 1991, founded FOLA as an advocacy group dedicated to the restoration and long-term management of the lake. Whereas Jim Thomas spearheaded policy actions, legislation, and funding efforts as the president of FOLA to bring the lake back to its past glory. And whereas Jim Thomas never let the negative phrase "that will take an act of Congress" impede his efforts. With his encouragement, a small group of people, and his own hard work, he delivered a proposal to turn the Lake Apopka North Shore Restoration Area into a wildlife refuge. Whereas Jim Thomas was a founding member and a longtime president of Oakland Nature Preserve, which was incorporated in 1997. The mission was to preserve, restore, and educate about the environment, tell the history and restoration story about Lake Apopka. And whereas Jim always said that ONP grew the mission, grew with it, but always at the core needed to educate. Whereas Jim Thomas was a visionary and his insight was into restoring and conserving habitat in the Lake Apopka Basin, opened up opportunities for ecotourism. Today, residents and visitors alike enjoy biking, hiking, birding, wildlife viewing, boating, fishing, and environmental education classes. And whereas Jim Thomas received numerous awards, recognition, and the prestigious Florida Wildlife Federation's Lifetime Achievement Award for his work on behalf of the environment. But for him, it was not important to receive credit for taking a stand. It was more important to take a stand and make a difference. Whereas Jim Thomas taught us that it is important to be good stewards of the environment and that positive things are possible and quality of life can be enriched through education and perseverance, we should take pride in leaving a legacy for generations to come. Whereas Jim Thomas believed that all life is precious and that everything is connected, we are all indebted to him for teaching us that no battle is too big or too small when we work together to do our part to restore and care for the native habitat and wildlife that live here. Whereas Kathy Stark, Mayor of the town of Oakland, previously proclaimed February 16th, 2019 as Jim Thomas Day in the town of Oakland. Whereas the Oakland Nature Preserve dedicated the Jim Thomas Environmental Center on February 16th, 2019. Whereas the town of Oakland commissioners wish once more publicly to acknowledge and recognize the contributions of Jim to our community. He contributed to the quality of life in our community in ways that will make a difference for generations to come. Sorry about that. We have a lot of people here that are here for this proclamation and for Jim. And Peg is here, his wife, and her daughter-in-law, and other esteemed folks. So.
And Kathy.
Who are those esteemed folks?
His daughter comes through.
Ellie. Oh, and Ellie zoomed. So anyway, I think there's a few pictures in order. So you want to do one with the commission first, and then do one with the family and everybody else.
See.
Okay, very good. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Very good.
Very good. And then everybody else who's here for Jim, please come on up.
All you esteemed.
Oh, yeah, we'll get you copies. And we'll get you copies. Okay, yeah.
Don't hide that shirt. Don't hide that shirt. Oh, man. He's got good taste in shirts.
All right,
You
everybody.
got good taste in shoes.
1, 2, 3. One more. Very good, thank you.
Just don't step on it. You had to say that. I think those are mine.
I hate wearing shoes. If I wear shoes, I'm not gonna go all
Thank you.
Wait a minute. Mayor, Mayor, Steve, I wanted to mention something before the family leaves.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
So on behalf of the Boy Scouts, it was announced today that the Golden Eagle honoree is gonna be Jim Thomas this next year, March 19th, in Winter Garden, in Ocoy. And the co-chair is gonna be Joe Dunn. And I'm sure the family knows because you had talked to him about receiving the Eagle. And Joe Dunn, who's in the audience, is gonna be the co-chair of awarding the Eagle honoree for the Boy Scouts of all the, the multiple Eagle Boy Scout activities that your husband did at the nature preserve. So this is something that the committee brought, and I just wanted you guys to know before you have left.
Very good. Well, thank you.
Ramps on the other side, right?
Isn't there one here too?
I don't know.
Hold on, let's see.
I could be wrong. I think there's a ramp on that. It's there? Okay. Sorry about that, y'all.
Hey, I didn't remember either. I have to go look.
I was like, I'm not gonna get through
I
this.
should have
It's too
known.
long.
All those times of pushing Willie up a ramp, I should have known.
You should know. All right, do I have anybody? I do. This is now the time for public forum. Anybody who wishes to address anything on the agenda that is not already on the agenda, we ask that you keep your comments brief, and we'll start in the room. We have anything? Okay, from afar? Okay, we see no hands, so
Okay.
we will move on to the consent agenda. Is there anything on the consent agenda that we wish to pull out, talk about?
I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Do we have any questions or comments in the room from the audience? Do you have any questions from afar? We must make sure that we thank Renee and the finance team for no comments on this audit. That's a really hard thing to do. So we're very, very pleased with the way it's being handled.
Cool.
So if there are no more comments, all in favor?
Aye.
Ordinance 2021-20.
Okay, second public hearing ordinance 2021-20, an ordinance of the town of Oakland, Florida, amending the town of Oakland comprehensive plan by adding a property rights element with associated text for said element thereof, providing for legislative findings and intent, providing for ratification of prior actions, providing for conflicts and severability, providing for codification, and providing for the implementation of the statutory review process and an effective date.
Well, this is just the second reading on this very small, probably the smallest element that we have in the comprehensive plan for property rights. It's required in order, I mean, we don't have to do it, but then want to go amend anything else in the comprehensive plan, you gotta have this.
Okay,
So here we go. It's got some very modest wording and it's kind of a minimal element, but an important one.
do we all understand
Yes.
what it's all about? This is our second reading, so we went through it once before. I need a motion, please.
I'll make the motion to accept ordinance 2021-20, second reading.
Okay,
I'll second it.
okay, it's been moved and seconded. I'm going to open a public hearing. And is there any questions in the room? Any questions on Zoom? Okay, I'll close the public hearing. Any questions at the table? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Ordinance 2021-22.
Okay, second public hearing ordinance 2021-22, an ordinance of the town of Oakland, Florida, repealing the current division 4, pass-through of development review fees, and adopting and substituting division 4, pass-through of development review fees of Article 5, Finance of Chapter 2, Administration of the Code of Ordinances of the town of Oakland, Florida, and providing for codification, conflict, severability, and an effective date.
Okay, this is a second reading. We've been through it. Jay?
Yeah, I think you know what this is, restructuring our fees for building permitting in particular, so that we can have flat fees as opposed to, as we go, and so we're gonna have some flat fees, which are coming up in the resolution. We'll see, next.
It helps to streamline the process also.
I'm all for streamlining. I think everybody is. Okay, so do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept ordinance 2021-22, second public hearing.
Okay. So I will open a public hearing. Is there anyone in the room who has any questions or comments? Did I get a second? No. Okay. Does anybody have any questions or comments? All right, Zoom, any questions or comments? All right, I'll bring it back to the table, close the public hearing. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay, we are at resolutions 2021-05.
Resolution 2021-05, standard fees for building permit review. Resolution of the town of Oakland, Florida, to adopt standard fees for building permits for consultant services and providing for conflict, severability, and an effective date.
So these are our streamlined fees, if you will, so we can just get them from the outset. Don't have to come back, ask people to pay after the fact. Sometimes they're done. They got their CO, they've sold the house, especially with these production builders. They're quick. They move quickly once they're done. So this will be a nice little bit of streamlining.
Okay,
Yeah.
so do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2021-05.
I'll second it.
Okay, do we have any questions or comments at the table?
No, ma'am.
All right, I'm just for safety's sake, I know I don't have to do it on a resolution, but we'll open a public hearing. Anybody in the room? Okay, anybody on Zoom? Close the public hearing, take it back to the table. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, resolution 2021-13, Hall Island Phase 2 plat.
This is resolution 2021-13, Whole Island Phase 2 plat. Resolution of the town of Oakland, Florida, making findings, approving the final plat of Whole Island Phase 2 and providing an effective date.
Okay.
Much of it is needed, but it is always informative. This is the final plat for Hull Island Phase 2.
Is it turned on?
No, that'll help. Apparently, I've been having technical issues this week and last week, so. Yeah, the purpose is to approve the final plat for Hull Island Phase 2, which kind of in the iterations you saw is the Ross and Pinto property. Prior to MI finally taking possession of the property, they have taken possession of the property and have well on initiated construction, and probably infrastructure wise within the phase are pretty much done. This phase is a total of 45 lots. So we have Whole Island Drive, the main Hull Island Phase 1 subdivision would be to the west of Hull Island Drive. We have the wetlands that was already dedicated, which was part of this property on the north. So therefore, this plat kind of went through a few iterations where they had it in, we told them to take it out, then they missed some arcs and curves and other things. So it's taken a little while to work its way through the process. The next couple of slides here are just basically a breakdown so you can see the lot sizes. They are all pretty much consistent with I'm gonna say most of the smaller lots in the main portion, not out on the island, but they're consistent with those lot sizes. So those 65s by 125s or so. A little part that helps out with the wetlands north here. And font size, I'm sorry with this. These were the considerations from the development agreement. In talking with Mike Parker, the majority of these are things like sidewalks along Hull Island Drive, the intersection, pavers and things like that, that they will be taking care of. It'll actually be added into the bond because they haven't necessarily completed this yet. The one thing that I did want to note is, back myself up. Which you probably can't read, but it's number 2, which was that there would not be full access for Simeon Road. So basically where it makes the turn here, there isn't a continuation going to the south. It basically is kind of an internal loop within the subdivision with an emergency access gate if it's needed for, again, for emergency purposes. So to finalize, staff recommendation is to adopt and approve resolution 2021-13 for the final plat of Hull Island Phase 2.
Okay. Do we have any questions at the table?
Just had a little bit of a typo that I ran into on this paper. You had Bragg Farms.
I think in the staff report, yeah.
Yeah, you had it.
Yes.
It's either one of two things. Either it is my fault for using a template, or 2, we were having versioning problems with Microsoft Word, where, especially with this PowerPoint, I sent it to Elise. And it wouldn't take away one of the slides. She kept getting the slide, even though it was deleted on.
I was searching for it.
Yeah, essentially it's a typo. It's not, this is not part
We'll
of.
Yeah, I
go
saw
for,
This is Hull Island Phase 2.
we'll go for option 1.
Option 1 is my fault.
Operator error.
So I just want to make a couple of points on some of these other considerations. So they are working on the turn lane, the additional turn lane out there at Hull Island. It's kind of nice because the road's closed. There's not too many people going through there except for local residents, but they are in the process of putting that in. So if you go out there, you'll see a little pile of asphalt and stuff. They're putting in the turn lane that they're required to do. And then I'm assuming that soon the sidewalk will be coming. So there'll be a clear connection from the development all the way up to the West Orange Trail along the east side of Hull Island Drive. So those 2 things will be coming. But they are doing that work on that turn lane already. You know, Mike's been keeping an eye on that.
Okay. Any other questions?
And the gate from Simeon Road is just one, it's going to be a locked gate. Is that the idea for it?
Yeah, in the future, if the commission decides they wanted to have access, I'm sure we could open that up. But right now, everything's been set up to use Hull Island as the main thoroughfare for this development.
Okay.
Should that ever be closed, you at least have an access out of there.
Okay,
Okay,
I'm good myself.
all right. Even though it is a resolution, I'll open a oh, wait a minute. Did I get a?
No, we haven't.
Oh, okay, I need a motion, please. I'm sorry. I'm trying to do 2 things at once and it doesn't ever work.
Go ahead. I'll make a motion to adopt resolution number 2021-13.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Now, with this resolution, I recognize that I don't have to open a public hearing, but I will open a public hearing and ask for comments. Mona?
I'm coming in late, but I just want to know how they can address how the bus shop and they keep the road. Or is there anything
I didn't get that whole question.
As far as the landscaping,
We have Yvonne's property, Pinto's property was right there along the, I just wonder how the development, how they've addressed, how they're gonna, what's gonna be done through there. What's it gonna look like?
That would be that south buffer of the neighborhood where it butts up to the nature preserve. It's a buffer requirement there.
The planting,
So there'd be a fence or a wall or planting, that's what you want to know?
the trail.
You're talking right there at Pinto's house?
Required buffer, 15 or 20 feet to stay away from the west, so they're gonna do that, and they basically dedicated that entire wetland,
Could you
Up
put
there.
that on the screen and?
including the entire whole island. We see or hard to crack, this one being one of them. It was dedicated to the town. It's basically incorporated. First spelling, first of the, this is probably what the closest.
Put that one up there.
We can get it.
all of this property right here is dedicated to nature preserve.
Okay.
So that is actually part of the buffer. to the nature preserve here. So they dedicated this and added it to the nature preserve. So they would essentially, dedicate a large buffer to the nature preserve. And then down here, Simeon Road is the buffer to the area here.
So where would you want to help to keep people?
So we need to look at this as far as the buffer along here.
Yeah.
That we're going to cover the wetland along here. That has to keep.
They could see actually that's here.
So what you need to look at there is this section.
Yeah, that's our
How that interacts with us. And there's a fence already up right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's all.
Leave it alone because I don't remember how to.
And this is all stuff that's detailed. And the road is over here.
So is the house go right up to the fence? Is there a buffer between the house and the fence?
Yeah, there'll be some stuff back there.
Yeah, there's setback.
Plantings or whatever, so people are.
We do need to make sure we address.
That's good.
Got a
For asking,
question for
Mona.
Jim. Can I ask Jim Peterson a question?
Remember those days?
Hey, Jim? Is that buffer enough that do we need to have concern about people planting non-native plants that close to the preserve there, or?
Yeah, we would like, all native plants and especially nothing that would spread onto the nature. I mean, there could be some invasives there now, but hopefully we'll take care of those. And we do plan to have a trail connection up through, kind of, I think, through that property one way or another, and then it's going to head out to the Full Island Park.
I mean, I'm talking about the homes there, but do we need to have concern about the homes backing up to the preserve there?
Yeah, we would prefer it to be native vegetation or something that we approve.
Too late to add on there to the homes that back up to the preserve?
We need to get with the HOA.
Yeah, I was gonna say we'll have to re-review the HOA documents, because I can't recall whether, it's basically a duplicate of the Hull Island Phase 1 that they moved over, so I don't think there's probably a non-native species or a Florida native requirement. We can ask them to add that in there.
There's supposed to be a native requirement for everything that we do.
Blanketed, wasn't it?
There is in our landscape requirement, so there's a certain percentage has to be native, et cetera, and they're spelled out. Mostly that's the trees.
But if homeowner A comes in and says, hey, I want to plant X, I don't have anything to kind of get back at them.
It's the after the fact, after people move in and start doing stuff, that we need to put something in place.
Yeah,
Everything that they're gonna be doing is either Florida friendly, or all the trees will be, Florida native, anything that gets planted on the lots. It's the after the fact, the HOA, we need to put some teeth into the HOA doc.
okay.
so that they're not planting stuff that's invasive to the nature. A
What
lot
is
of it's
that?
gonna be.
Mainly the homes, but
Buffer.
up to the buffer, up to the
Right.
curb, not the rest of them, but the ones that are closest to it, because worried about the seeds and whatnot blowing over into the preserve, and then,
Right, and there you go, pulling up air plants again,
so.
whatever they were.
And speaking of blowing over.
Was there anything that was put in the trail side when it was built?
Oh, my gosh, that's so long ago, I have no
Probably
idea.
not. I wouldn't guess back then.
Yeah, back then,
We'll
no.
work on the HOA side of this. It has been brought up previously. And we'll see what we can do as far as the HOA and making sure, but a lot of it's gonna be education with the homeowners.
Okay, so, go ahead.
Does the HOA have anything about fences? Is it free for all? Is there fences allowed by the homeowners? Or does the HOA, MI Homes provide a continuing fence themselves that's either chain link, that's open for blowing something over, or a vinyl fence or a brick
As
wall?
far as I recall, there were no hard improvements, basically with this phase, other than the roads, and they might have had some monuments on coming off from Hull Island Road, but as far as for fencing and stuff, there were no hard improvements that were put in, so fencing requirements or regulations would fall back to the land development code. Now, we could ask them to put that also in, that they simply use the aluminum, or that they use just a standardized type or something to that effect. We can also ask for that to go in. We have done that before. We did that with Fulton.
The bottom line, there were not any requirements put in for MI to put fencing in.
If I recall, Trailside has a uniform fence across the back of their homes butting up against the nature preserve. Vinyl, I think it's a vinyl fence.
It is a
They don't
vinyl.
have a chain.
Requirement.
One leaf has a specific fence requirement, for backyards for all tagging out on Oakland Avenue.
And there may be for Trailside, I can tell you this about Trailside. Trailside's gone back to replace that, but it's actually on the homeowner's property. So basically, you're replacing one section that might cover 2 or 3 properties. Those 2 or 3 property owners have to participate. So that's where it kind of gets a little bit funny when you say, hey, developer puts this in and then he needs a replacement. Permitting then becomes, I'm not gonna say a nightmare, but it becomes very.
Would that be on us? Would that be on us to tell the homeowners when you guys put a fence, it's gonna be this style?
It would be better to have it actually as a HOA requirement, because right now, our code basically says if you want to do a vinyl coated chain link in black or green, you're good. You want to do a vinyl of the appropriate height, you're good. We don't even necessarily say anything about colors directly in the code.
So for us, it doesn't have to be uniform to your neighbors once the homeowner takes over. So I mean.
Unless the HOA requires.
Unless the
Now,
HOA.
here's the good thing where we are with this. I have not received the Mylar yet for this, for either the mayor to be able to sign and the other appropriate officials. And typically in recording, the HOA documents are going in with those as well. So I can get back with MI Homes and ask them to add something in for non-invasive Florida native for this, for that southern property line on the funky area. As well, probably we should just go ahead and say do it for the whole thing, because when you go to the north side, you've got the area that's abutting the wetlands as well. So it could make sense to be able to.
Well,
And as well as putting something in with a standardization for fences. If they're gonna go with vinyl, then they go with a tan vinyl, or they go with a specific type. And everybody uses that type.
Well, are we familiar enough with the HOA documents to know whether they've got something already in there?
I think I have a copy of them. I can read through them. I don't know whether they do right now or not.
do we have so many questions about this that we need, hang on, Mona, for 1 sec. That we need to just table this until we,
That is an option.
I mean, I don't see the harm in it. You know, and we're supposed to, when we do develop, you know, it's Florida friendly, non-invasive, Florida native preferably. What homeowners do put on their property after that, I would love to be able to require HOAs to have the same kind of wording, and maybe that's something that we need to look at. And fencing is another one, because trail side is That's older than we are, isn't it, Mike?
No, we came.
Were we here?
That one.
No one's over there.
Before I was older than I,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah, we
You
did
know-
do it, but that was real early on.
Yeah, that was so long ago, but
I had a
it
black beard.
makes sense for us to be asking for things like that that are uniform and nicer than a chain link coated fence.
Right.
Chain link because of what Commissioner Paul said, if seeds or anything blows over, it's gonna blow through the chain link fence.
Well,
I mean, and, so, the trucks, the horses left the gate. And on this one, maybe, but maybe we can make up some of it with the HOA. But these are things that, we need to ponder some more.
On the west side, yeah, that's pretty much already built out, and I believe the majority of people are either putting in aluminum fence or
Right.
vinyl. Or
Like I said,
Well, you're right. It wouldn't hurt to probably table it. Let's see exactly what it says. And then when we come back, it'll be a very simple because all we have
Simple
to deal with
discussion.
is this part. But you
And-
might as well be short first.
We want some additional information and we will come back.
And as you asked, say you want additional information, this is kind of what we're looking for. And if you don't have it, maybe
Yeah, those specific things that we've talked about tonight.
Right.
Those that.
it wouldn't hurt.
right,
provide some information. Now, the thing is also even with Whole Island, I'm gonna guess we're gonna have some people that aren't, they might fence their sides, but they might not do anything with the back, because that's actually kind of a nice view. To me, I live in the country, so I like looking out on a field, so.
Mona, did you have something still?
Yeah, I just wanted to say maybe when he comes back, I'm just curious, the fence that already exists for the nature reserve that we had to put in when we got the land, it's still there. So that 15-foot or 25-foot, whatever buffer, my concern was how is that gonna be addressed and planted? Because I would assume then the fence would be on the other side of that, it wouldn't be like right on top of the preserve, it'd be on the other side of that buffer. So what comes between the two? So that people in the preserve aren't looking at this wall of houses or wall of fencing, but that buffer would be addressed and planted. That was what I was wanting to know. What are we gonna be looking at from in the preserve at the back side of this development?
Okay, I don't, well,
And that's what it seems like he's gonna address, if I can address.
I'm looking at the plat for this, and it doesn't look like it's actually a buffer, it looks like it's like a no-build zone easement, like you can't even put a shed or anything back in there, so I don't think anybody's gonna be planting anything specific in there other than when the homeowner takes possession of the property.
That's not their property, it's property, right?
Well, if the buffer is on the other side, on this plat, it's basically, they've got a line going out, it's like don't build in there, don't do anything in there, like, it's not a buffer.
It's an unbuildable buffer.
It's still part of the homeowner's buffer, so it's a fee simple ownership, they still own the properties, they just can't do anything.
So the neighbors can't begin to encroach into it because it's a buffer. But I just wondered if we were gonna address it, that's what I was.
We'll go back and get more information.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we understand what the concerns are.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have anybody from Zoom that wants to weigh in on this? Did I have a motion
We
yet?
have a motion and a second on.
I did have a motion. So do we want to make a motion we'd make a motion to table the motion?
Yes. We'll make a take,
Well, if we have a motion and a second, so, I mean, if the consensus would be to vote no on that motion, then probably the best procedurally would be to vote no on the motion and then someone make a new motion to table this.
So do we have to do a date certain?
No, because we didn't advertise.
Yeah, I don't, yeah,
All right.
obviously table this for the next.
Okay, so let's vote on this one. Was that clear to everybody?
do I have to redo the motion or leave it
No.
on the table?
We're gonna get this one.
Done.
So we have a motion on the table to accept the plat. And so all in favor,
Nay?
all opposed,
Nay,
nay. All right, now we make a motion to table, and we table this until another meeting. We don't have to have a date certain.
We'll try to bring it back November 9th. then.
Okay,
It shouldn't take that long, right?
okay, I'll make the motion to table resolution 2021-13.
I'll second it.
okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any questions, any comments? Any questions from the audience? Any questions from Zoom? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. That was fun.
Okay.
We are to town manager report. Parker's back. Said Parker's back.
No. It did take you a lot of years to learn that, though, I have to tell you.
And I only have a couple things. So Mike and I have been working with Alicia on the legislative request. I talked with our lobbyists last week. We are going to pare this down to one request, the alternative water. We're going to do it under the auspices of what we've been doing, the Oakland South Lake Apopka initiative. It's going to be for $2 million. We've got the house form filled out now, got the legislative flyer, and I will pass those along tomorrow so that we can get them to Representative Thompson's office and get the ball rolling on that. So that's moving forward. And then coffee with the manager, we're going to do it a week early. I usually do it on the second Thursday, but that's Veterans Day. So we're going to do it on November 4th. And then I probably will not do one in December. And then we'll come back and start them again in January. I am looking to maybe do them in person.
I think that'd be great.
Maybe alternate months, some months in person and then the next month on Zoom, just kind of weigh that out. But Alicia and I will work through that for.
I know you're gonna hate me for this, I'm sorry. Can you do them like we do these? You can either show up or.
We can, but I had the idea of maybe actually doing one on location. And
Oh, okay.
That one, I wouldn't be able to do the two.
Okay,
But we'll work through some of that come January. But again, November 4th, we'll have a coffee with the manager. So I had about 9 or 10 people at the last one. It was a good discussion.
good. I think that those have gone a long way. People getting the right information
Yeah.
and not, it just seems to have taken the tone of misinformation down quite a bit.
And I did send you some information today and on Friday about the zip codes. That's
Yes.
that seed that was planted some years ago. So we'll keep on that and see where that goes. If anybody needs any information, got in contact with Senator Rubio's office now. We'll keep that moving forward.
Would it be, I think it would be the professional thing to do. I believe that Ocoee has been struggling with this also. I think it was Ocoee that said that we let them know because there's strength in numbers.
Were they included in that?
Yeah.
I'm trying to read it right now.
Yeah.
But you have some other cities in that email.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Included. So they're being considered also.
Okay, good. I just didn't want them to go, whoa, wait a minute. Well, because I know, I think it was either Rob or Rusty had mentioned it.
Yeah, I believe they're included. And there's like 5 or 6 cities in Florida with all of the same issues. And so I believe Ocoee's been included also.
Good. That would be very nice.
It's gonna make Dennis happy.
Oh, yeah. That was one of his big ones. And I would like it too, because I truly believe our information would become much more accurate. And that kind of information, hopefully has upsides most of the time. It could have downsides.
Community and that sense of identity of having an Oakland zip code, to me, that's really key in bringing the community together.
Yeah, people don't, I mean, you're never gonna dispel, just like Windermere and Winter Park, the misunderstanding that people really don't live there, that they're in Orange County, because, you know.
I grew up in that situation.
Yeah. Me too. And, you know, people think that Oakland Park is in Oakland. So, you know, those kind of things will not go away, but the data that we get will, I really truly believe will be more accurate, and the people who live here get their identity. They don't get it totally, but they get that.
It's something.
So,
Cool.
all right, anything else?
That's it.
Okay, Sal, you want to start?
Okay. We have a MAC meeting or Metro Plan meeting in person and Zoom Thursday, 9:30 a.m., November 4th, next week. We also have that afternoon, West Orange Chamber Golf Classic. Everybody's invited. 11 a.m. shotgun. And I want to reiterate, you know, about the Golden Eagle honoring, just because the family, I got ahead of myself, but I wanted the family to hear about Jim Thompson's receiving that award, and Joe Dunn being the one co-chairing that, and March 9th of next year.
Okay,
That's all.
Rick?
Pumpkin Glow at the Preserve this weekend, Friday and Saturday from 6 to 9 p.m.
I need to get out there.
This week.
Jennifer said she had lots of pumpkins. I think she may have made them all herself, but she said she had lots of pumpkins.
Did you say Friday,
Yeah, they're doing 2 nights this year.
Thursday and Friday, or Friday? and
No,
Saturday?
Friday,
Saturday.
and Saturday, the 29th and the 30th, Friday and Saturday.
Last year, for the
6 to 9.
they had over 2,000 people. So
Wow. 69?
Yep.
And I love, you know, I'm out of turn, but I love the tree idea. The holiday trees,
Christmas tree.
holiday trees.
Christmas tree.
Joseph?
Oh, oh,
Oh, Rick, were you finished? Okay, Joseph?
We had the last Tri-County general meeting on October 14th. Went pretty well, so that's the last one for this calendar year. The next meeting will be in January in Sanford. That's when we have the the installation of the new officers. That'll be in Sanford. So Norton, one part is the incoming president for 2022. So it hasn't been decided if it's going to be virtual or in person. So that communication will be coming out soon. Another point, Mariah Raines is retired. I mean, not retiring. She resigned. Her last day is Thursday, so we're in the process of looking for a new executive director. So Florida State has an institution of government, and they kind of contract with other universities. I think it's Florida FAU, Florida Atlantic University, and down in Tampa. I mean, Boca, and also University of South Florida over there, Tampa. So Boca or Tampa. But we're probably going to have someone help fill in until we get a new person, or until University of Central Florida decides on who they're going to have to replace it. So we don't have any replacement. Good thing is we don't have too many meetings. We have a board meeting in December, and then we of course got to get prepared for the transition of the new officers. And so she just got a new position. So she's still around for 2 more days. And so
Tell her we'll miss her.
yeah, so she'll probably send out an email sometime today, I mean this week. next
Okay.
couple days, so. And then I'll be attending the Florida League of Cities Legislative conference down in Kissimmee next week, Thursday and Friday.
And I would suggest where we need to get Steve dates if we can for Tallahassee and make those arrangements.
Yeah,
We're getting close if it's gonna be in January.
I'll get with James tomorrow. I gotta, like I said, I'm gonna send that stuff to him tomorrow and I'll talk with him.
Anything else?
Oh, that's,
Besides you trying to trick us all up, making you think
it's,
making people think you got married this weekend?
that's all I.
Yeah, you faked us
You
out.
are single.
That's,
At this, you are engaged, I believe, but
that's all, yeah, that's all I have.
Well,
trip to all manner.
Having fun.
she made sure that wasn't all you had, didn't
Uh-huh.
she?
Just having fun.
You tripped all manner of people up.
Just having
Not,
fun.
I figured it out pretty quick, but the comments were funny because they were
Congratulations.
congratulations, but they were, you knew they were like going, not sure who I'm congratulating.
So you had a congratulation with a question mark.
Uh-huh.
Congratulations.
No one got invited to that.
Yeah, so that would have been a,
I apologize.
Mikey?
Yeah, the only thing I have is we do have an opening again for a SAC position.
Okay.
I'm not surprised.
Well, it is technically a business position. We are actually trying to look somehow for this, could be a dual parent / business, so that we can kind of get the expertise from both ends of that. People. So if you know of anybody, Elisa will be putting out the application. We go through the same process through town hall. So one opening.
Okay.
That's all I have.
So I just have to say kudos. Steve, keep me honest. I don't think it was us, but Pulte that was responsible for the crosswalk on Oakland Avenue.
They finished that last.
But they finished it.
Yes, striping, signage, everything.
Yes.
They finished it.
Wow.
Well, and I just want to, I did see a comment about the bureaucracy and it
Yeah.
wasn't the town bureaucracy, I promise you.
No, I know that. And that's part of the beauty of your coffees and things like that, that we dispel those assumptions that, it's always us holding things up. But I'm very glad it's done for the safety of people who want to cross that road. I went on, and I meant to bring the brochure, but I left with 3 and I ended up with 1, and I really would like to keep it. I went on the Bloom and Grow Society. Those women cannot sit still. I am always amazed at the amount of work that they can churn out of that organization. So when they couldn't have spring fever in the garden 2 years in a row, they channeled their work into other things, such as the Monarch Project downtown Winter Garden, which is beautiful. If you haven't seen it, it's not quite complete, but you can see that the sculptures are there. And they also did a heritage tree assessment and put together a self-guided walk. And I went on, they had a walk last Friday. It was their first walk, and I think it was kind of like a test to see how it went. And I want to say there are 30 trees, but I could be wrong. Most of them are on the north side of Plant Street near the lake. Some trees were selected because they were historical in nature. Other trees were selected as educational and good examples of species that are Florida friendly, because I found out that there are no flowering trees that are Florida natives. That's what Katie Moss Warner says, and if Katie Moss Warner says that, I believe her. So they put these little signs on there with the QR codes, So you can take the self-guided tour. It's 2 miles downtown, down north of the lake. So you can do part of it, you can do all of it, however you'd like to do it. And the QR code gives you the history and the information on the tree, and they're just little tiny plaques. And then there are trees that are not in that area. There are trees at Tucker Ranch and I think somewhere else. And there are trees that are named for people, a couple of trees named for people, but it was such a cool thing to do. And I don't, Bloom and Grove Society is not exclusive to Winter Garden, and I don't know if that's something we want to put on our list of things to think about, to add on, maybe. I know we're talking about doing a tour of some of the historical places here in Oakland, which would be very much like that. But they also give you a lot of information about Florida-friendly, non-Florida native plants, what grows where, it's really, really very, very, very well done. So it's just planting a seed of something that we could, and I don't know if they would be open to partnering. They are going back to spring fever in the garden, so, but those ladies have a lot of energy. And Jim Criscitelli, of course, was right in the middle of all of this with the historical information. But you can go to the Bloom and Grove Society and you can download the map.
Yeah, we reached out to Jim on it. We haven't gotten very far on sort of mirroring that project yet. We don't have any named trees, so it'd be more like talking about the native trees and like the nature of the trees. But we're working with Bloom and Grow on Wesley's herb garden, so that's like our next big project.
Good.
So Mayor, are you talking about doing something like that just for nature or just any other topic in general?
Say that
Are you
again.
talking about just doing it as just for nature? Because I know you say you mentioned, are you looking at that as that being like a topic or a project we can duplicate here? Or as it relates just to nature or to any other?
I think it could be historical homes. I think it could be historical
Like land?
plants. It would be nice if we could partner with Bloom and Grow and grow the tree thing, the plant thing. I think that would be cool to be partners with that. It also has a healthy component because it's a walking tour. So Healthy West Orange did some funding for it. They had somebody design the plaques and, I think everything was donated that was done for this.
So a mixture like that would be ideal for us. Because
Yeah,
of history.
we're eco.
What is that called? That barcode? What is it? The QR code.
Barcode.
Post it somewhere where they can look it up and not only have a site of a historic house, but what used to be there 100 years ago.
Mhm.
Click on it and say there used to be a Grand Opera here or a hotel here, even though it's not there no longer. And I believe
A lot of
the
stuff.
gentleman who did the pictures for us here in Oakland had picked out like 42 or 43 grandfather oak trees.
Yeah,
He has a book, I have it at home, where they picked all the trees. I think we lost like 6 of them already since they took those pictures that made that book.
yeah.
And we can have that as part of the, like you said, keep it
Right.
healthy, so you don't just walk 100 yards, but you walk maybe a mile.
And there might be a sign or 2 left, but when Mike and I and some of the other old timers moved into town, the historical buildings had signs that said, this building was built in this, like the Toritos house built in, this year. And it was wasn't that the kitchen?
Yes.
It was,
Doritos.
The hospital hotel.
I think that was the hotel.
And then there are
Hospital
sites,
was Red Codern's place.
yeah, and there are sites that are gone, like the Oakland school.
Right.
You know, so and this is, to me, this is so great, and you know, I like short meetings. So gratifying, because we have gotten to a place where we can think about things like this that we never could before,
Yeah.
because we had way too many pressing
Right.
issues that couldn't wait. And, you know, this would go along with our sense of identity and, you know, the logos and all of that is, I think, could go together.
And a lot of those old marker signs are gone now, aren't they?
I think most of them, I don't recall seeing
I
one
was gonna say, I
lately.
haven't really noticed.
Because the Josefian house had one when we moved in, and the Doritos had one, and the builder, what was his name, the head of P and Z, Bill
Hartsel.
Hartsfield had one on his house.
Yeah, yeah, they were all over. you
Yeah,
know.
they were all over town. And, you know, and part of that walking tour could also be, Amy did that, you know, amazing article about why the streets are named what they're named. That could be part of it too.
We're planning an exhibit around that as well.
And then there was, I told Steve this, there was an article I've never seen before, and I think it was done before, long before we got here. And it was called The Men Who Made Winter Garden. So I don't know if that's got any relevance or not.
It'd be nice if people that don't have those signs anymore, if we could get those back up there, and it'd be nice if we could get Wayfarer signs, you know, like up a Tub and Oakland Avenue. I know that, you know, the old hotel, whatever's this way, Boss Pier.
Kind of like the scenic byway.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if they were, you know, made so long ago, that was 30 years ago when we moved in, they were here. If they were made of wood, if they didn't stay, you know, withstand the weather.
Still there. I think the Doritos. Still.
Is the Torito still there? You know, you get so used to.
You see stuff every day, you look past it, I think.
Theirs is still there.
But I think you're right, it's a lot of them are wood, and now maybe, you know, John and Michelle, they've taken care of it, and they've, a lot of people, they just, you know, kind of rot away a little bit, so. But there were a bunch of them.
But I think that's cool to see that, you know.
And the places that there was nothing, you know, where we did the first place, like where Valerie lives, it was the old schoolyard. Remember, that's now the first 6 houses, remember, that we did, you know.
Homes in Partnership.
Yeah, no, I couldn't think of the name of it, you know, they had when they built Southern Oaks and run into the old Mather Smith crypts and stuff like that, you know, there's just a lot of stuff like that around.
Well, Sanford does it real well. If you go downtown Sanford.
They do.
They got pictures of what used to be.
Yeah,
there.
they do.
And they tell you the history of it. Yeah.
Yeah, they got those little kiosks. Yeah, walk through.
You can stop and read them. And I know Elise and I, we had a meeting. I'm just looking at my email 2 years ago. There's a town in Texas called Georgetown, Texas, and they have an art exhibit. They do the same thing. So, but you have these little spots, they have planted in the ground so you can just change them out and put some art there as well.
Oh, that's cool.
Periodically.
Like sculptures, like movable, you know, you can move the sculptures around different places.
That's really cool.
Similar to how we got the sign, you know, the things for the sign in the ground.
That is the
Put
center.
sculptures and those different signs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go and you start.
Like, so, you know, you can put signs right now around town. We do, you know, we're advertising events. The pieces already in the ground, we can have something configured and we can put some art, you know, some art center, or, you know, you can turn into health or whatever, and put different displays periodically. So
That's what I was just saying as you were talking to her. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk. Yeah, but it came, that would be a perfect thing for the art center and history center, is the hub of it where the maps of all this stuff were and the different type things.
Right.
The epicenter of the whole thing. That would be, you know.
Do we still have those brochures, the West Orange County brochure that did the Chamber of Commerce?
The green one, right? The green one?
Yeah.
Yeah, do we have those at the Heritage History Center, what,
Center.
The center is,
with the name of this law. But to me, you know, just having this conversation
could call
is,
it a little
is
way.
just so gratifying that we
Can't.
are gonna
We can,
get there.
yeah.
We're gonna get there sooner rather than later.
They just think won't be long, we'll all be bored doing this, huh? We'll have to give money back to the town because it'll be on it.
Yeah, we won't be earning our keep, our $50 a month. But it's very gratifying that we're at a point where we can think about these things.
Well, one other thing we're looking at is over with the nature preserve, we've got all that fence line across the nature preserve. We're in the process of looking at some opportunities that we could put some iconic art along there that has to do with the history and heritage of the town. From railroads to citrus, to the lake, to the different aspects of the town. That could, you know, we get all these visitors through here, 40,000 a month. Some things that they would remember as they're coming through that has to do with the heritage of the town. So we're looking at that as an opportunity too, that something we can bring back to the commission for discussion.
Yep. But this was just, it was just another piece of this. And I know, you know, maybe somebody had it on their list of things to do, but I know those women were like, we gotta find something to do. We can't just sit here. So.
And their husbands are going, yes, you sure do.
As long as they don't have to load plants in cars, they're happy. So, anyway, that's all that I have. I'm sorry I took so long. Mikey's got
Oh,
something.
thank you, Mayor. Something Commissioner Ramos said during his report reminded me of something important.
You didn't learn much.
Yeah, you may recall about 2.5 years ago when Caleb Farr, a young Boy Scout, came in with a plan and all of that. And we helped him figure out what was in our best interest. That project is now complete.
I saw
If you
that.
get a chance, you need to go to Spear Park and take a look at it. The flag is raised, the monuments are in. The flag is at half-staff due to Colin Powell's recent death. And we're working on getting something together for a dedication at a later date, but fairly soon, we hope, so on Saturday.
Yes.
But anyway, I wanted to let y'all know that job is complete and it's really, really spectacular.
He's worked for
We did a good job.
a couple of years on that.
Yeah, 2.5 years.
Yeah.
2.5 years.
And he's earning his eagle, you know, which
Yes.
is.
Yes.
And doing it here now, most of it, high percentage for Betsy Vanderlee's husband, Mr. Shaw, of the Eagles out of, you know, Golden Eagle, the Eagles out of Troop 145 is the highest percentage in Orange County.
That man is a saint.
Let's,
Grandson.
and I did forget to mention that the other co-chair is Betsy Vanderlee, who's gonna be dedicating the Golden Eagle to the business boy development. So the two, one will be Jim Thomas for the honoree, and then the other one for the business will be Boyd Development, Scott Boyd Development, and Betsy Vanderlee will be dedicating that one.
Is that our Scott Boyd, this Scott Boyd, or
Oh.
Scott Boyd, the other Scott Boyd?
The development Scott Boyd, not the ex-commissioner Scott Boyd. We asked him to, but he was too busy. He's really, really busy right now. Cool, forgot to mention. Thank you, Mike, for bringing that up.
No, and, you know, Todd Shaw is the same. His grandson is long grown, long out of Boy Scouts, and he works so hard with that troop. You know, and they went to Sea Base this summer, or they're going to Sea Base this summer, one or the other. They're gone or they're going. And, you know, it's just, those are the kind of people that are unsung heroes.
It's a high percentage. I think they threw around the numbers in the 60%, which the rest of the Orange County or Florida is like at 15% or 12% of kids who start Boy Scouts actually become an Eagle.
Yeah.
Troop 145, you know, 6.5 kids out of every 10 versus 1 out of every 10. It's hard. The rest of the state. With Mr. Shaw has a lot to do with it, yes.
Yes, It's amazing, the work he does.
Yeah, so while I was there was a disabled veteran that wheeled himself down from the neighborhood from one of the home. I don't know, I think he is at home last time.
Pat,
And wheeled himself down several blocks to thank those guys and the kids. So it's really, really a nice day.
probably Pat.
Is there plans to- Are we gonna do more with it, that monument, or is that's gonna be it?
That's his project is
This
complete.
portion, but I'm saying, we plan on doing something else there, right, or add on to it?
I think probably if we had the scouts come along with the same type of thing, would just kind of go in line, I would guess.
There's a bench and the plaques that he did and the flagpole, so it's a nice little circle there that's been set up, and then we still got a few more things to do with the park for the plan.
It came out very, very nice. The plaques, the whole monument. Love
Just
it.
remember, if you ran out of places to park, I got a little box at my house, $5, you can park as long as you want.
One of these days, you're
I
gonna,
just, as long as we got the crowd gathered.
you're gonna be there one day. Cameras?
All right, Parker, I knew you couldn't go for the whole meeting without saying something.
You had me get a plug in to make money, Mike, thanks.
And you said something that I can't argue with, so anyway. Do we have anything else? Okay, if all,
If all hearts and minds are satisfied, that's adjourned. It is now 8:21 PM.
that's pretty good.
All right.